SuperTalk Mississippi media production.
Are you in your element? This is Jeremy Nelson, your host for Element Wealth Radio, every Sunday from 8:30 to 9:30 a.m. and Wednesday from 9 to 10 a.m. right here on SuperTalk Jackson 97.3. Element Wealth Radio, helping you complete your financial picture.
Roll pre-record on my count. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Roll A, fade up on A.
Southern Miss to the top. You're tuned in to the Eagle Hour.
All right, Golden Eagle fans, let's go. SuperTalk Eagle Hour is on the air. We're broadcasting from the Southern Bancorp studio here in Hattiesburg. Bob Getty, Kelly Sander with me this afternoon, and kind of a sunny, overcast day here in Oak Grove. We're glad you're with us. Opening segment of our show today, sponsored by our wonderful friends out of Dickey's Barbecue Pit. That's just a great place to take your family for a great meal any night of the week, and especially a good place to cater upcoming events, whether it be for your church, your home, your business. They do it right, don't they, Kelly?
Tailgate parties, too.
Yeah. No. Well, yeah. That's
right around the corner.
Right around the corner.
Yeah.
Hey, got a great show for you today. Jenny Hazelwood's going to be joining us later in the program. We're going to hear from two Southern Miss players that Kelly found down at the New Orleans Media Day. Davis Dalton is about to talk to us, as well as Mathis Hazelwood. And then, we'll talk a little general Southern Miss stuff, but we're just glad you're with us today.
Mathis Hazelwood's going to set you straight on something, too, Bob Getty.
Oh, no, you didn't bring my name up.
We both did, and we're going to.
No.
That'll be in our second segment today.
I'm not going to have to take care of Mathis.
It's a good thing you wouldn't even have to try, because I know who I'd be putting my money on.
Well, I know from now on, if I ever go back out barring again, I'm going to try to get Shelton Gandy to go with me.
Yes.
And just stand around me, and I'm going to smart mouth people and say, now do something about it.
Yeah, he's only 5'10" or 5'11", but why don't you just go try it?
He's retired.
Yeah.
He's an old man. Try him.
You can take him. Yeah.
All right, let's get going. Davis Dalton, you talked to him down in New Orleans. Set the table here, Kelly.
Redshirt senior from Madison, Mississippi. One of the few guys that's been a holdover in the last 3 years. Man, he's been a dedicated servant of Southern Miss, and Southern Miss is where he wants to be, regardless of who the coach is. And did get a chance to sit down and talk with him at Media Day New Orleans not long ago.
First time using it?
Yeah, like all this fancy equipment. Davis Dalton coming in 3, 2, 1. All right, Davis, you played a little tight end, wide receiver. Did you ever play tight end? Never played tight end.
Never played tight end.
Okay, I thought maybe you had. All right.
I mean, I guess I played we'd go 10 personnel a little bit last year and be 4 wide receivers out there, and I would play the tight end spot.
I'll tell you what, I totally botched this intro. So we're going to start again. All right, coming in 3, 2, 1. All right, Dalton, first of all, just tell us about the attitude and the expectations and morale heading into this season.
I mean, obviously they're all positive, and we're all ready to start the season, and I'm very confident in our team and every aspect, every position group, every part of the team, offense, defense, and I'm just ready to get the season started.
Well, you and Mathis both need to be in a museum because you're two of the holdover guys from last year. So with that, leadership, you've been rightly or wrongly kind of thrown into a leadership role because you guys have been around.
Yeah, I mean,
and how do you handle?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we got to bring everybody along. There's other leaders on the team as well, and I think everybody just kind of bought in together, and there's just like true leadership on all aspects of the team, and we all buy in together to get one common goal, and obviously that's to win, and I think leadership's everywhere, and we're just ready to go.
The transition from the Huff era now to the Anderson era, talk about the differences and how there are similarities.
There's a lot of similarities and differences. I mean, I'd say one thing that Coach Anderson does well is he is good at getting us to get in the building, and everybody actually wants to be there. It makes everything fun around the building, and we're not it's just working all day, every day, and it doesn't feel as forced like it was last year. And I feel like it's one big difference that Coach Anderson makes everything fun for all the players, and everybody wants to be there.
When you first came to Southern Miss, there had to be some things about your game obviously good enough to play at this level, but there had to be some things in your game as a natural competitor that you wanted to get better at. What were they, and have you?
Yeah, I'd say the biggest thing I've done to get better in college is not necessarily stuff on the field. I feel like I've always been good at working hard on the field and doing everything I'm supposed to football-wise. But I think the best thing I've gotten at is off-field stuff, being mentally prepared, and the film room and rehab-wise, and keeping my body maintained, because I feel like it's the reason I used to get injured a lot in my first couple of years. My first 3 years I had a bunch of injuries, and I could barely stay on the field. And I think that's one thing I really learned is how to keep care of my body now and keep healthy as much as I can, and also while keeping in that film room and knowing what to do every single play.
Sometimes you'll hear people say that receivers, that they didn't run a very good route, or man, that was a great route. Educate the average football fan at home that just watches a game and doesn't really notice things like that. What's a good route, running a good route, running a bad route?
Honestly, a good and bad route is, if you're first off, you got to be running the right route that the quarterback knows what you're doing. And obviously, I think the biggest aspect is creating separation as much as you can from the defensive back, and obviously getting as open as you can. Just pretty much the biggest deal is separation and selling whatever you're selling the opposite of what you're actually running. So if you're running a go ball, you're selling sitting down, or you're just running straight by. But if you're running a curl, you got to sell vertical and then sit that down. But you just got to sell different routes to open other routes.
I think that a lot of the reason that you guys aren't being really expected to do as well as you hope is because there is no clear, definitive quarterback at this point. As a receiver, does it matter to you? I know that quarterbacks have different skill sets, but
yeah, I really don't think it matters. I think all three of the guys we have competing for that number one job right now all have experience. They all have confidence in themselves, and I have confidence in them as well. I think if we throw any three of them out there, we can win with any three of them. I'm really confident in them.
So what do you think? I want you to put a coach hat on. What are some things you think that you guys really want to get cleaned up? Because you only have when you start practicing, you only have about 3 weeks for that first game.
Yeah.
So some things that might keep you up at night a little bit.
I don't think there's really anything truly specific that like a big key component that we need to work on. I think there's little bells and whistles we need to obviously fine-tune, just like little stuff like, I guess, a receiver, right, route depth, making it instead of like if it's supposed to be 10 yards, make sure it's 10 yards, not 10 and a half. And just little stuff like that. I don't think there's anything just we're truly struggling with right now, and I think we just need to go day by day and figure out what we can get better with day by day. I
kind of joked with you, Davis, and Mathis about you guys are two of the few holdovers from last year. And it's real. It seems to be the real chic thing now to leave and go to other schools. What kept you around?
I've honestly just liked my whole experience at Southern Miss. This will be my 5th season here at Southern Miss, and I'm the only person from my recruiting class that stayed all the way through. And I've just enjoyed all of the friends, family, and all these relationships I've built throughout the years. And even with 3 different staffs, coaching staffs, I've enjoyed every single part of being at Southern Miss, and that's the part that's kept me going. Really, necessarily the off-the-field stuff is not as much as almost fun.
The football career will end at some point. So then what? Where do you see yourself, say, 15 years down the road in a world that you could control?
You're saying what am I going to do for work after, pretty much?
When football ends, is there something you've always wanted to do?
I don't know. I've kind of been looking into that a little bit after I'm done with football. I'll probably get into some type of sales once I'm done. I've already graduated and working on my master's in business right now, and I'll finish that at the same time as football season ends in December. I'll probably get into some type of sales, kind of want to get some type of medical sales or pharmaceutical sales in that aspect, and I've been looking into that a little bit.
Well, all right, that's Davis Dalton, and you were very impressed with him, weren't you, Kelly?
Yeah, and I just love the fact that he's been here 5 years, and he values the experience. So it's refreshing to see some athletes where it's not all about their representation.
Yeah.
or the money.
That's the new term, isn't it? Their representation.
Yeah.
Lord.
And those are the type of guys you really can't help but pull for.
Of course, yeah.
And John White's in there battling for a starting quarterback position, and no offense to the other guys, and Coach Anderson's going to put the best guy on the field, I have no doubt. But you just kind of pull for those local guys that this is where they've always wanted to be. They're living a dream, and they understand that is a dream come true for them. I don't know how you can't help but pull for them.
Yeah, I've had other coaches say that coaching kids at the group of six, is it group of six now? It's hard to keep up with. Group of five, group of six is more enjoyable than coaching the guys at the big schools. That they have more appreciation for being there. They work harder. They work harder to prove themselves every day, and coaches seem to like that type of kid more. And I think this kid's a great example.
I don't think that they're spoiled by their representation.
Correct.
They don't have people in their ear that don't need to be there.
Correct.
They understand what their skill set is and that it might be a little bit more limited than those guys in the Power Four, but so what? They're living a dream. They're getting an education paid for, and they're getting to play football, a game they've loved their entire lives.
No question. Well, that was Davis Dalton. When we come back, we're going to hear from Mathis Haygood. Now, he's unusual because, correct me if I'm wrong, he was part of the Thundering Herd that came here.
He was, and he's one of the very few from that team that stayed, and he'll tell you why. And again, he'll set Bob Getty straight on something. And the Eagle Hour
I wasn't even there.
continues in just a moment.
Back.
Big news from Robinson Electric Supply in Laurel. We've moved. You'll now find us directly behind our old building, right by Sawmill Animal Hospital. We're still your trusted electrical distributor, carrying everything from conduit to tape. And don't forget our full line of Milwaukee tools. Whether you're a contractor or a DIY pro, stop by the new Robinson Electric Supply at 1222 West 6th Street and see what's lighting up Laurel. Robinson Electric Supply. New location, same trusted service.
Southern Miss to the top. To the top. You're tuned in to the Eagle Hour.
All right, welcome back to the show. Glad you're with us this afternoon, wherever you're tuned in. This segment of the show is sponsored by Eagle Tire West, Highway 98 West. Goodyear Tires, all major brand tires, full service work on cars and autos, including AC work, which would be pretty handy this time of the year. Family operated since 1985, Eagle Tire and Eagle Tire West, Goodyear Tires, full service, big Southern Miss supporters. Grateful to them for all they do, as we are our wonderful friends at Forest Healthcare, where they remind you that it's important to keep up with the most important player on your team, and that player is you. Get an annual physical. Be sure your health is as good as it can be. Forest Health can help you. Expert medical care closer to home. ForestHealth.org. Delighted to have them as a sponsor of the Eagle Hour. All right, Kelly, that isn't the only kid you talked to in New Orleans.
No, Mathis Haygood, and we didn't really get to talk to him last year when he came over from Marshall, and that was no fault of his own. It was just because Coach Huff kind of had that blanket where he wouldn't let the players and coaches lots of times talk to the media. But when Mathis Haygood got his chance at Media Day, man, everybody talked about just how really impressive and dynamic this young kid is. I think if he plays anything like he presents himself, Southern Miss fans are going to be really glad he stuck around. Coming in 3, 2, 1. Mathis, I'm kind of starting this discussion with you where it kind of started with Davis. You were at Marshall, all right? You were one of the
All right, Kelly, we're going to try to get that interview up here in just a second. We're
Okay.
just having some difficulty here the last couple of days with our recorder. So I'll let you continue, and I'll work on this technical issue over here.
Okay, well, tomorrow on the program, we will continue with our Sunbelt Media Day countdown to kickoff, sponsored by Hancock Whitney Bank. We'll be talking with Bryant Vincent, the head football coach at Louisiana Monroe. The Warhawks are expected by, at least in the preseason prognostications, to finish in last place in the Sunbelt Western Division. Me and Dima Mixon, who's off today and tomorrow, but Dima and I think that the Warhawks are going to be a lot better than people project them to be because of some of their key players that were injured last year that are now healthy and have come back, did not transfer from Louisiana Monroe. So we think that they're going to be better than a lot of other people think that they're going to be. Now, I don't think they're going to be at a level where they're going to compete for the title in the West, but I certainly think they're going to be a lot better than most people project them to be. So that'll be on the countdown to kick off tomorrow on our program. And also Scott Kirk will be joining us from WDAM TV 7, and we'll talk. He's been at all the football practices so far. To get his point of view too, we want to have as many different sets of eyes on football practices as we can get so that we can give you the best overall look and perceptions from all the different angles of people that are looking at this first edition of the Blake Anderson Football Eagles. Scott Kirk on tomorrow's program. And a little bit later on this show today, Jenny Hazelwood, the head volleyball coach at Southern Miss. The first sport to get going is soccer. Volleyball is the second. So we'll find out about how the volleyball team looks to be this year, and I know a lot of the young women are already on campus getting ready for this season.
Let's see if we can get this interview up. I'm going to give it one more shot.
All right.
I'm sorry, it's just not going to work. We just can't get there. We've had a lot of equipment issues here lately, and today is another example.
Well, we'll get that big. He's definitely somebody that you want to hear from. So we will get that. Now I heard a little noise there.
Yeah, bear with me 1 second.
Okay.
This is what you call live broadcast.
Yes. Yeah.
Have you ever done this before?
And you actually, on that first interview, you actually got to hear me botch that interview with Davis Dalton. We got to start all over again.
I was going to congratulate you on that, but I was too busy trying to figure out these technical points.
No, it shows that we're human, and even as long as we've been doing this, sometimes we'll step on our own tongues every once in a while, but nothing to keep you humble like radio or the game of golf. I've always learned, although radio I don't say a lot of the words that my mom would not be very happy with, like I do in golf sometimes.
One more shot. Here we go.
All right. Well, we're 0 for 3.
All right, so we just struck out. We're not gonna try to do this anymore. Maybe the equipment will be working tomorrow.
I'm used to striking out, so that's
yeah. So anyway, you were impressed with this kid as well.
Yes, and he's leading up the linebacking core, and Dima Mixon was also impressed with him, and so Dima kept an eye on him at some of the few practices that the Eagles have had so far, and he said even in the breaks that Mathis Haygood was coaching up some of the younger players. Because he realizes that he's going to be leaned on for the leadership role in the linebacker room. And the fact that he came from Marshall but did not leave to go to Memphis with everybody else could tell you a little bit something about another kid that...
Well, since we can't get the interview to play, I'd like to know what it is you said about me and what the young man said.
It's much better if you could hear it in person, which we will vow to get that to you.
Hopefully.
All right? But... he's from Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay.
So.
Oh, God. Here we go with the initials. Am I right about that?
Yes.
Now, before you told him that, did you tell him you had been to Cali as well?
He and I were tight. You could tell we hit it off right away.
In the DR? Is that another one you
That's
went
the
to?
Dominican Republic.
Yeah, DR, yeah.
So I asked Mathis, I said, Mathis, I call it the ATL. Bob Getty says that I shouldn't call it the ATL. And he says, oh, Mr. Bob. It's the ATL. It's the ATL.
You say that. Well, I'm glad to know that. When I meet him, I'll be sure to tell him that I appreciate that education.
Yeah, and there again, a guy that is from the Atlanta area, went to Marshall but came to Southern Miss. He's got a skill set that he could have stayed right there at Georgia State in his own backyard.
Yeah,
he could have gone to Georgia
Kelly,
Southern.
These kids seem bothered by the fact that nobody gives them credit for anything and just thinks they're going to be awful.
I actually think they like it. To the degree that they can, he who laughs last laughs best. Mm-hmm. So they feel like if they can prove everybody wrong, that they're the ones that are going to be laughing at us. Mm-hmm. And it serves as an inspiration for them to continue their work and practices and get better. They understand why. And really, when you just explain logically to people why nobody expects much of Southern Miss, the players will even say, yeah, if you base it on returning snaps and returning experience, we'd probably vote a team like that to
But these
finish
kids
last.
were good wherever they were playing before. This coaching staff wouldn't have wanted them on their roster, right? They have skills. I mean, they can be developed into D1 players.
And these are guys we talked about John White, Davis Dalton, and now Mathis Haygood, that realized that they were getting good coaching and that they were developing. Mm-hmm. And since they're not one of these Power 4 guys necessarily, why not become as good as you can be in an environment that you love being in? You remember a couple of years ago, we were talking to one of the Old Dominion linebackers who was all conference and had a chance to go to a lot of different places, including Virginia. And he said, why would I want to do that? I know I've got a good situation where I'm at. I have no guarantees, regardless of what any coach says. I have no guarantees that I'm going to go to this other place and like it. I have no guarantees that I'm going to get what they promised. There's a lot of trust involved and remember, when you walk away to go to the transfer portal, you're forfeiting your scholarship.
Right. And I'll give you an analogy. It seems like in the NFL, the bad apples get all the publicity. The great young men that you and I have got the privilege of knowing that are religious and family oriented and good young men, you never really hear about them.
Give a lot of their money away.
And that's the same thing about the portal. What you don't hear is the 75% of the kids that enter the portal and don't get picked up anywhere and lose their scholarships and lose out on everything. You never hear about them.
And
all you hear about is the ones that get picked up at other schools.
Yeah, the other guys are out in front of a department store with a sign that says, "Will linebacker for food."
Yeah.
Because
a lot of kids get left out, And then, Kelly, haven't high school kids been badly affected by this? I mean, why are you going to bring in a lot of high school kids when you can go buy a kid that's already played 2 years of Division I football?
Well, the junior college programs love it. Because
the high school kids probably don't love it, right?
Yeah, well, for sure. Because where are they going to be developed if they don't get a chance to play But that's where I think that a lot of the group of 6 now. I think the Pac West is now thrown in there with the Sun Belt and the MAC.
It'll change tomorrow.
Yeah, that's where they can go and develop with the goal of going to a Power 4. At some point. But you talked earlier about the 75 or 80% that don't get picked up anywhere. Well, you have to be careful who you're listening to. This air quotes representation, they are in your ear telling you how good you are.
And guess what they're after?
Of course.
Money.
All they want is the money.
Yeah.
And once they find out that you're not going to get an offer, they're not taking your phone call anymore.
Right. Right.
And I really applaud some of these guys like Mathis Haygood, like Davis Dalton, who understand that, have the maturity to understand that a bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. And if you like where you're at, you're being developed, you're getting a good education, why even risk it?
Oh, I agree with you completely. All right, when we come back, we're going to hear from Jenny Hazelwood. As we head to the break, want to remind you about more good friends of ours. We're just lucky. We have a lot of them. MCS Home Center for home repair, home remodeling, home construction, everything you need for your next home, lawn, or garden is available. MCS Home Center in Bellevue. Local folks eager to help you, and they will. 7329 Highway 98 West. Also want to welcome Hancock Whitney Bank. They'll be sponsoring our Sun Belt Football Countdown. We'll have another edition of that tomorrow. Grateful that Hancock Whitney Bank is sponsoring that. Glad to have them part of the Eagle Hour family. We'll be right back with Jenny Hazelwood next.
Eagle Hour, Southern Miss to the top.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Want to remind you about DBAT down on Hardy Street. Great place for baseball, softball, adult sports training. Got batting cages, got a running track, got a weight room. They've got everything you need. Expert instructors that can help you be the best that you can be in your sport. They've been with us a long time. We're very grateful to our friends at DBAT down on Hardy Street. Hope you'll do business with them. as well as Genesis of Hattiesburg, the official auto dealer of the Eagle Hour, Genesis sedans and SUVs. Well, you'll find them all at Mississippi's exclusive Genesis dealership. Don't buy a Genesis anywhere else. Highway 98 West in Hattiesburg, Genesis of Hattiesburg, great Southern Miss supporters and really good guys down there. We really appreciate Kevin Mullen and Mr. Grubbs and all the fine things that they do in our community. All right, guys, believe it or not, fall sports are here. Volleyball is practicing as we speak. The ladies getting ready to go for another exciting season of volleyball. We've got the head coach, Jenny Hazelwood, with us. And, Coach, I guess this is always an exciting time for you when you get your ladies back together and start getting ready for another year.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always such a busy time, but so much fun to get them back together. They've worked so hard in the off season and even on their own in the summer, and so get to see it coming together. You know, it's early in the preseason. We're about a week in, and we're seeing a lot of really good things. I
heard you and Kelly talking off air. I do want to bring this to our listeners' attention. Very famous basketball player, played at Mississippi State by the name of Eric Dampier, went on to have a stellar NBA career. His daughter is on your team. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Alyssa Dampier, she's a freshman, and she brings obviously a lot of height and just a great kid, you know, going to really be someone that I think in the long term can make a huge impact at this level.
And get this, she's a true freshman, and she's listed at 6 feet 6 inches tall. Now, most people don't stop growing until they're, 21? So she's
well, her daddy was 7 feet. I mean, her daddy's 7 feet plus, right? Yeah.
So the majority of the family still has to duck through all the doorways when they're coming through the building.
I can only imagine. Yes.
And we're going to talk a little bit specifically more about some of the newcomers in a minute, Coach. But I wanted to ask you before the regular student body population gets to campus, and I think classes start like the 24th or somewhere in that neighborhood. So we still got a couple weeks to go there. Do you find that the young ladies have better focus or worse focus when the rest of the student body is not around?
I think in the preseason, when there's not a lot of other distractions, we get really good focus because there's just not much else going on. And so, like, they're here in the gym, they work hard, they go through everything we're doing with intent and focus on getting better at volleyball. And then when they leave, it's just a lot of, rest, recovery, trying to make sure they're taking care of their bodies. And so it's probably a little more focused when the rest of the student body is not here.
And we want to be fair to Alyssa Dampier's mother, because obviously she's just as important. And she also, Bob, played basketball.
She had a little something to do with her being here.
Yes, she did. But she played at Jackson State, and she herself was over 6 feet tall.
Really?
So yes, I was going to say she is tall for a female. She's very tall, and standing in the family photos, she looks like she's shorter, but she's absolutely not.
So let's talk about some of the. We talked a little bit about Alyssa Dampier, but some of the other talent that you've brought in, Coach, and how you think this team will be similar to last year's team, and yet how they might be different.
Well, we returned a lot of a bulk of our starters, and so Sadie Makeda, first team all conference, is returning, and I mean she's just a lights out volleyball player. Absolutely will be one of the best players in the Sun Belt, and I mean she is just something to watch out there. She's one of the best players I've ever coached in my career, and not saying something because I've coached some pretty great players, and we just literally, you can go through, our starting line. Sunny Shepard was all conference as well, and she's playing probably her best volleyball, and just you're talking about a bunch of players that are, in their fourth year of college volleyball, and Sadie Makeda has been here all 4 years, and I just think Lily Johnson has been here going on her fourth year. Aubrey Judd has been here now going on her third year, and Sunny is going into her third year here. Ellie Stewart was a standout freshman last year, returning. We returned so much, and that's not. I mean, we have so much more experience on our roster. So it's going to be really cool to see just what these players have continued to build on, and then adding the new pieces. And we did get my Allie Hazelwood, so of course Hazelwood, she's my daughter,
Right.
transferring. She graduated from USC and is going to spend her last 2 years here at Southern Miss, and she's a great player, doing great things in practice, and then you talk about our 3 freshmen that have come in, and they're really just adding to our gym and adding depth and just really pushing. They all push each other and challenge each other. It's been great.
When you look at the Sun Belt Conference overall, with the departure of Texas State now, how would you describe that changes the complexion of the league overall, particularly in the West, if there is a major change with the Bobcats now being gone?
Yeah, Texas State year in and year out was one of the top teams in our league. So obviously, you lose some good competition there and some fun competition, and it's always going to be a challenge. I'm not going to miss the trip to
Sure.
Texas State. It's a lot easier to get to Ruston, Louisiana, than it was to get to where Texas State is located, and but I do think that our conference has so many other. Arkansas State's won it the past few years, won our conference tournament and gone to the NCAA tournament. James Madison is always a top team, over in the East Division. Coastal Carolina, I could go down the list of the volleyball programs that have been, in the top 100 in the RPI year in, year out, a number of teams that will really be an option for an at-large bid into the NCAA tournament. So I think our conference stands in a really strong position again this year, and I think that we're overall going to be even that much better as a conference, and Southern Miss is going to compete to be, as we say, to the top. That we're going to be right there with them.
Well, it sounds like to me, Coach Jenny Hazelwood, that when it comes to talent and program-wise, the cupboard there with the Eagle volleyball team is as full as it's ever been, at least since you've been here, yeah?
Yeah, for sure. And just returning so much experience. And I think in today's day and age with the transfer portal, that's one of the things that I'm really proud of, that we return so many players, and a number of players, again, like I said, that are going in their 4th year with this program. Maggie Sewell's another one that, she's been with our program going on 4 years, and it's just not as common nowadays. And obviously there's a place for transfers, and we've benefited from that as well. But I love too that we're building from these players from their freshman year to now. It's going to be a special season, and they've been a part of each of those building blocks.
So I'm guessing, Bob, that Alyssa Dampier is not going to be the libero. Is that right, Coach?
I think that look, she's got pretty far reach. She can do a lot, but we wouldn't want to as she grows and develops in the sport. It'd be hard to not have her in the front row because she's pretty far over the net even without jumping. And so as she gets, the speed of the game is pretty fast for any high school player coming in. It's pretty fast, and so she'll, like all the freshmen, they've got some catching up to do, and that's okay. That's a part of it, and but they're definitely a huge asset in the gym.
All right, Coach, just a minute left. I'm going to ask you a question. I don't know that anyone's asked you before, but I want you to reach out to our listeners here and people who may not have come and watched a volleyball match, who have maybe not gotten involved in collegiate volleyball as a fan. What is the message that you would like to deliver to them?
One of the biggest things that I think you could say about this team and this program is that you have a collection of really good human beings. These ladies are very, very good people. They care about other people. They care about the community. And so then to turn around and watch them play the sport of volleyball, which is a fun sport to watch. It's fast-paced, high action, and they're doing elite athlete things. And then just to know that they're just genuinely good humans, I just think that's the neatest combination. It's just like you go support these athletes and you just know, my goodness, like they're great people, but gosh, you watch them play volleyball and they're unbelievable athletes doing unbelievable things. And so I just think that's a really neat combination, and maybe you don't know that when you're watching a team play, and then you're just like, oh, wow, and they're just such a great group of people.
Yeah, they really are fun to watch. Yeah. And an air conditioning, Bob.
There we go. And a beautiful facility, as good as anybody's facility in the country. Yep. Well, Coach, thanks so much for your time. As always, you're welcome on our show, as I hope you know. And we pull for your ladies every match, and we'll be staying in close touch with you as the season gets underway.
Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
All right, Coach Jenny Hazelwood, everybody. Southern Miss ladies volleyball. It is a beautiful facility, and I know some guys that go on a regular basis and they really are into it. They really enjoy the sport.
Yeah, now it's completely different than baseball in the sense that there are some lull times. Baseball tends to be a little bit slower moving. Volleyball, the ball is moving all the time, and sometimes it's so quick it's difficult to follow. But they'll have an exhibition game on the 22nd, which is the day that Fan Fest is being staged at Southern Miss. As we get closer to that time, we'll fill in some of those blanks for you. But you can watch volleyball and the football team scrimmage on those same days.
All right, as we head to the break, don't forget about our podcast. You can hear it anytime you like on Apple, Audible, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube, or Alexa or Siri will play it for you. We'll be right back.
Big news from Robinson Electric Supply in Laurel. We've moved. You'll now find us directly behind our old building, right by Sawmill Animal Hospital. We're still your trusted electrical distributor, carrying everything from conduit to tape. And don't forget our full line of Milwaukee tools. Whether you're a contractor or a DIY pro, stop by the new Robinson Electric Supply at 1222 West 6th Street and see what's lighting up Laurel. Robinson Electric Supply. New location, same trusted service.
You're tuned in to the Eagle Hour. The Eagle Hour. Southern Miss to the top.
All right, welcome back to the show, everybody. I want to thank Jenny Hazelwood for joining us. Always enjoy talking to Coach Hazelwood and always enjoy covering the sports that most shows never pay any attention to, Kelly. That's something that we've done for 10 years and something as long as we're doing this show, we're going to continue to do.
And any time that we get to talk to any of these kids, you can tell they're so appreciative.
Yes, they are.
And it's almost that they get so little coverage that they almost act like, are you sure you want to talk to us?
Yeah. It's rewarding to talk to them and to bring them on the show. We're going to continue to do that. Like I say, as long as we do the show. Hey, we head into this segment. I want to remind you about a great place right down the street here, and that is Movie Star Restaurant. We had lunch there just last week. It was good as always. Friday night, a great night to eat there. That's the one night they're open. They're open Monday through Friday, 11 till 2. Friday night, 5 till 8. Sunday, of course, 11 to 2, when they have the famous Sunday buffet. Food's always delicious. They've been serving it up for 25 years, and that's another locally owned family business that we hope you'll do business with, Movie Star Restaurant. And if you need some money to go to Movie Star and you got some old gold and silver laying around the house, Kelly, who would you go see?
Marty Vick at Jewel Masters. He's been trading and selling gold and silver and silver's pretty good. It's gone down a little bit, but
it's all good, solid stuff to have.
Yeah, but whatever the top price is, Marty Vick will give it to you.
Yeah, the better thing to have than gold and silver is cash, and that's what you'll get when you go down to Jewel Master. Does he still talk to you as much fun as you've made of him on this show?
I think sometimes he feels like he has to.
Yeah, I picked that up in the restaurant. We ran into him the other day. Felt kind of compelled to come talk to you, didn't he?
Well, when I practically throwing myself in his face saying hello, I mean, it's usually,
I noticed that.
Usually nice.
I noticed that as well. Also, Mo Baby and Yay Company, 2902 Hardy Street. That'd be a great place for some weekend desserts when the weekend gets here. Check out their Facebook page, Mo Bay Beignet Company, Hattiesburg. All right, Kelly, news and notes.
The Sun Belt Conference has announced its schedule for the upcoming men's basketball season, which will feature 9 games for the Eagles at Reed Green. The Eagles will open conference play right toward the end of the year. Their first conference game is going to be at Reed Green on December 19th, and they're going to play your favorite team, Bob.
James Dam Madison.
Yes, James Madison will be here on December 19th. And then their second conference game at home will be against Georgia State. That's going to be New Year's Eve, December 31st. Then when we turn the calendar to 2027, they will play at Georgia Southern on January 2nd to kind of complete a road trip there. Then they come home to play Coastal Carolina on January 7th and Old Dominion on the 9th. Then they continue that homestand against Troy on the 13th before traveling to Arkansas State on January 16th. So when you go down, and we could go down the rest of the schedule, but you'll be seeing it as it's printed. One thing that kind of jumps out to me, and this is just kind of a quick read when I look over the schedule, but I don't notice any of the 4-game road trips. Well, I do see one 3-game road trip in the conference, but I don't see any 4-game road trips.
Well,
So-
we'll look into that a little more and let you know if in case that's going to be the case. They haven't released the non-conference schedule. Am I correct about
No, this is just conference play.
Right, okay.
Yeah. But remember, that was one of the biggest complaints and one of the most asked questions at Media Day, and it wasn't even a football question.
Right.
But several of the media outlets wanted to know what the league was going to do basketball-wise about these 4-game home-and-home road trips, because those are just brutal. I mean, when you're playing 4 games on the road, and the problem that the Eagles have run into is that a lot of their home games that were scheduled, the students aren't even in classes because they take such a long Christmas break.
Yeah, a couple months. Right?
Yeah, that a lot of those games that are played in January at home, the students aren't even there to cheer their team on. So you can reach out for season ticket information for the season, of course, at all your regular ticket ways at Southern Miss.
All right, so basketball just around the corner, and always looking for. I'm pretty optimistic about this year. I'm going to tell you, I think there's a little buzz in the air.
Well, I think that might be the medical marijuana that you're smelling, maybe some, Bob. But no, the basketball wise, there is some buzz in the air.
Man.
And Anthony Alford's wife, how about Elsie?
On America's Got Talent.
Yeah, she's been on America's Got Talent.
Anthony damn sure has some talent.
He has still does. It looks like he could still play too. We were talking about Shelton Gandy.
Yeah.
So I don't know how how that works out on America's Got Talent, but Anthony Alford's wife representing, and we wish her the best of luck in her future endeavors.
Forward, I'm going to have to see any former football player that you tell me has bigger guns than our man
Shelton Gandy.
Yeah, I was dumbfounded.
But again, the fact that he's 60 years old, they say you can't count on that stuff when you turn a certain age.
I sat there looking at him, just thinking what it must have been like to tackle him in his prime. It couldn't have been fun.
Yeah, and somebody says, "Oh, he's juicing." I said, "What, like apple juice?"
He's not juicing anything except the weight room. I asked him if he knew where anatomies were. Oh yeah, I work out there. Okay, well, that I can tell.
He could work out anywhere he wants.
Anywhere he wants, exactly. But a nice guy.
The best. He's always has
nice.
been. Yeah.
All right, that wraps the show up for today. We're grateful that you joined us. Hope you can be with us again tomorrow. Until then, Southern Miss
to the top.
Slipping into the future. Time keeps on slipping into the future. I wanna fly like an eagle to the sea. Fly like an eagle, let my spirit carry me. I want to fly like an eagle till I'm free. I go through the revolution.
A SuperTalk Mississippi media production.